Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. You probably noticed what happened last video. Yeah, it wasn't good. At least you probably understood, considering the last word that he said in the video. Which was good that actually went through. But you probably heard from what he was saying, and I'm not sure if you heard what they were saying.
Hi, everybody.
The camera, the memory card ran out of space.
Yes. Last episode, our memory card filled up before we could say goodnight to you all. So tonight, in addition to little guy painting up the Clockwork Dragon,
And also some of that, but
he's also going to work on the Final Faction Mech here.
Which I'm not sure if you noticed, but I did a few more things. I actually don't know what's new and what isn't. I think this is new, and I think this stuff on the legs is new. I also did some work on this arm, or maybe it was this arm, I don't remember, and also on the gun, and more of these. So yeah, I've been doing work on it.
He's been pretty busy. So tonight you're going to get a 2-for-1 video with the little guy doing some painting, and I will be adding some more gribblies and modifications to this particular mech, and we hope you enjoy it, and forgive us, we should have deleted some things off that memory card.
Yeah, but we had no idea.
Normally,
the warning it gave us earlier, I'm going to assume, considering last time it did give us a few warnings before it actually happened, I'm going to assume that it doesn't just give you a warning when there's only 10 seconds left, because that's not good design. That's bad design. So I'm going to assume that the camera person was not holding it when it said that. But anyways, we should shut the video.
yes. He's going to be using some more Signal Red from Vallejo. He's already done a second coat on most of the red.
And also a lot more than previous. The first video I did the head and the tail, and that was it.
We're also going to try something new. We really, really, really do not like the wings. If we were going to paint this and do this a little bit differently, we've seen some on the Facebook page and elsewhere. People have, accentuated the fact that these are individual scraps of cloth stitched together. I'm going to actually try and milliput all of these away and make it look more like a uniform sheet of some sort of material. So I'll be milliputting all these gaps, making them go away. Fortunately, I won't be able to do that on camera because, one, that would be boring, and two, it will take hours to do. But I think I can do it, so we're going to try to give this dragon a more high-tech look instead of these sort of Leonardo ornithopter wing look. So he's going to start painting that red. And
yes.
And anything else red or any other color?
Probably some there, but probably not actually.
We also found that this Army Painter Shining Silver is almost good enough to cover any little mistakes.
But it's not good enough to, as you've probably noticed.
Yeah, it definitely won't get the same effect.
On the shield, I'm not sure if it'll show here, but it's not always just shadow. Sometimes, I'm not sure if it can be shown here, but a reflection is there. I notice it more here.
We're trying to keep as much of the original.
You can actually see my face a bit there.
We're trying to keep the original really high shine from the spray can on this mech.
This has a shine, but it doesn't. It doesn't reflect.
But it's good enough to cover up any mistakes. He'll also be using a little bit of
like on this wire. It's
a little bit of
and also no longer sticky.
Awesome. Some Army Painter dark tone wash in some small areas. While he's doing that, I will go back to fixing this little guy. Going to be adding some hoses like the silver one and a couple of gribblies. We have a rather complex build for this particular hand weapon. I'm going to try and work on that.
But I actually have no idea how we're going to end up doing it.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing that he's come up with. But
I don't
let's
think
get going.
It's going to be the hardest thing that we've ever done. I actually don't know what the hardest thing we've ever done is.
I'm going to start by using some of this garden wire just to get a rough idea where these hoses, how much wire I need for the hoses, where they're going to go. The piece in the back that we talked about last time should have enough of a gap here to hold the super glue, and then we'll be bending it around to pump into this little space back here. I don't know if you can see that. So I don't need a huge section of wire there. And then the other one will be going from here into this particular arm here. Want to give a little bit of slack because this arm, well, this one doesn't move, this one still moves, and we may want to position it. I'm just going to guesstimate here. This wire works a lot better than what we were trying to use. It's your basic, just garden wire. It's really flexible. Unfortunately, the coating does not like to take the spray paint. It becomes real tacky after you spray it. We found out the hard way. We touched it and it just took an entire...
Well, we didn't just touch it. I was holding it there for a couple minutes.
Yeah, but it stole a large chunk
of paint.
Okay, that'll work there. So I can glue that in. And that's almost perfect right there. What do you think, bud? Or should I droop
No,
it?
that's perfect. Maybe droop it a bit more.
To kind of get it out of the way. We don't really want that to become a target. You know, that's its weak spot is these hoses, as we discussed earlier.
Even though technically you wouldn't want to shoot them for reasons that aren't necessary to
And I'm going to try also, just to give it a little more strength, to pin vise this down here so we can get a little bit more depth of the wire and a little bit more of a hold. If you don't have one of these pin vise drills at home, I suggest you grab one. I got this one through the mail a few years ago, but you're not looking at more than a $10 investment. But they're invaluable for a million different projects.
By the way, you reminded me. Something that I might recommend that you buy is.
Glad I'm done with that.
Is a single colored tea lights. They're very rare, at least where we live, so we have to buy them online because there's a project that would greatly benefit from them. They're necessary.
Yeah, for our next, that's what, next week's, no, it's not even next week's project. It's the last.
We didn't expect it to arrive so soon. And they're good. They're definitely really good. But if you want to follow exactly what we're going to do perfectly, then it's in green. But also, we're probably going to have other uses for them eventually.
Seeing as how we got 24 of them in the package.
Yeah, there's a lot of them there. It's just not really that expensive compared to how you would use
Yeah, they're normally about 50 cents a piece, but we've had a running theme with most of our final craft of the month where we end up using a tea light or something like that. Something like that.
Just lights in general.
Just a a lot of people, call it gimmicky when we not us, but when people try to light up their gaming terrain. But personally, I think that it's a mistake not to try to do something like that.
Obviously, it's not necessary.
Right. There's so many.
But as we showed in the lighting video, where we got those lights that were like $1 each, and they worked very well. Having actual lights is way better than painting lights.
And I'm going to go get the super glue because
a good example is
While I do that, I'll pick this up.
A good example is the Dungeon Lasers. It was for the first set of Dungeon Lasers that was ever released. I don't know what it's called. Let me get some for the. And the image that showed for the sci-fi terrain was lit up. There's no lights in it, obviously. I don't know how you could possibly mistake it for having real lights, considering there's...
The original photo that they sent us way back over a year ago. What did you do?
Instead of dipping the paint into the water, I dipped it into the paint. Anyways, back to what I was originally saying before I remembered that I am quite non-intelligent sometimes. Unless they were edited out, it would be impossible for them to be there. Anyways, it looks incredibly good. The only issue I noticed is that you can only use it in that set. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't do anything with it. It has to be there, or else it doesn't look right. In reality, I think that you have to keep it looking like that. Like, I think you actually have to do the lighting effects last when it's already built, or else once you put it together, it's not going to look right.
Kind of. I've been noticing that too, that if you paint some of the Dungeons and Lasers scenery with lighting effects, you're
not going to get it.
You're committed to certain things.
Having it only look like that. But if you put actual lights in there, then you can put them in and take them out. Yeah, you're not going to have as many lights unless you have like a big set of Christmas lights that have like every color in a pattern. Not even a pattern. Unless you have that, you're probably not going to be able to... you're probably not going to be able to find a... What was I saying? You're probably not going to be able to get the same effect without committing to having it only look one way. I mean, unless it's just one, but if you want it to light up an entire thing and it goes from one thing to another, like, it's not going to have the most realistic lighting effect if it only lights up the wall in front of it. I mean, behind it. So, yeah, that's why we use lights. And then there are things that it's not actually the case, like the ice caves. We just do it because it looks cool.
That's why we do everything, because it looks cool.
Well, yeah, but I mean, having real lights does have a practical effect.
Yeah.
Putting lights in a place like the ice caves only makes it look better. So we're putting a green light, but it doesn't have to be an actual green light. It could be any colored light if you really want. You could technically even take one of those multicolored ones.
Yeah, I would have preferred if we could have found the multi-flashers. But at the same time, we did that twice. And I thought we could do something new. Now we just need to come up with a way of using 23...
Other lights, yeah. I've had a few ideas.
We could definitely toy with the idea of making some Necron terrain.
Yeah, but I've had other ideas.
Okay.
And by I've had other ideas, I mean I've had other ideas, definitely, 100%. I'm not just saying that because I assumed that I'm going to come up with another idea by next time we do anything sci-fi related.
I hope so, because that's the only idea I had.
Was Necron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think someone did that recently.
I haven't seen it, but I assume that it's a common thing for people to want to do.
Yeah, you know, I think it was Wylock who might have done it.
Oh.
Wherever you are, Wylock, hope you're having a great Valentine's Day. Come on back to YouTube, we miss you. There we go. Okay, now I'm stuck to the mech. That. And I'm going to pull out these bits. Hope you need enough for the rest of the show. What do you think, guys?
I'm going to start working on this one.
Okay, but show off to the camera where you...
This is really just the second coat. You didn't obviously notice I've done a lot more. This wasn't there. The legs weren't done. The back hadn't been done. The neck wasn't done. The sides weren't done. Only the tail was done. And spikes. Maybe a few other things I'm forgetting. By the way, we put a red clear thing coming from this thing to this thing. Just because.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah. It was actually very hard to do.
There's another one.
I don't know what I use that for, but probably something.
I'll put it off to the side.
Yeah. It'll probably be on this guy.
Okay.
You noticed we painted a lot more. Well, I don't think I painted much more on this guy. A few spots, like touch-ups and areas I should have painted last time. But now that we're done with him for most of the video until I am done with the red.
Guys, give me a second here. I will show you how we got the face, how we modified the face for these mechs.
Oh yeah.
Basically, I took one of these little guys. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's a little brass piece I found somewhere.
We probably bought it at a hardware store. Or it came in something from a hardware store.
I want to say that it came from when I was taking something apart, and I just...
That's also very likely.
Someone's trying to sneak into the show again.
Can you please? Okay.
But if you guys know exactly what these are, you know, if there's a specific...
We would like to know.
Yes, because I actually, being that I only had the two of them, I went...
perfect for this, but
So I went and made a mold of it with the blue stuff, because I'm going to be using the one and only leftover we have on this particular mech.
You know what? When you spray paint this guy, make sure this doesn't happen.
Okay.
See how there's dots?
Oh, okay. Yeah, hopefully we can fix that with some silver. But I'm gonna glue this one to his face, and then I'll be using some milliput to attach, sort of. Can you show him the fin top of his head real quick?
Yes.
While I mix up some milliput.
The head, the top, looks like a fin.
Basically, I just made a couple of snakes out of milliput and wrapped it around and then smoothed it until I got that particular shape. But I'm going to kill two birds with one stone here by mixing up the milliput to do that to this gentleman. And at the same time, with the leftover milliput, I will fill that mold so that we have another one, because the little guy went and picked up some more Final Faction pieces for future uses. And so...
Probably not for a video, just...
Yeah, we like these mech. This is probably our favorite piece out of all the Final Faction pieces, I think.
Even though it's the one we're only going to use it once. And by, well, you know what I mean, we're only going to make one video. Not, well, two videos, I guess, including this one.
So that basically I could finish this guy's head up. I probably want a little bit more just so I can...
Do you think this is good? A good base coat? I mean, second coat?
Yeah, it's looking good.
Other than this one.
As long as it's, you know, really shiny, that's what we're really hoping for. With the metallics, at least this particular metallic, it goes on a little pinkish, but the more layers you put on it, the more true red it becomes.
Do you hear something?
No, I don't hear anything. Just you and me, bud.
Okay. Anyways, I guess I'll start working on the washes.
Okay, which wash are you going to use?
I wonder which one.
I mean, where? Sorry. Not which wash.
Yeah, there's only one wash. Okay, anything? Are you working on that?
Yeah, I'm going to be gluing.
Should I just completely do it, or should I try to get in between the lines? Or should I just cover it?
You know, I think you'll be better off just trying to cover the whole thing.
Okay, I'll do that.
Now, I'm going to have to rely on the super glue. I'm going to just put it inside the grooves here, because if I try to put it anywhere else, it will get all over my hands.
It's going to require a lot of wash.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to place it on here carefully and hold it in place for a little bit. Hopefully I got it in the right position. It's going to give this guy, to me it kind of reminds me of the old Robotech Invid aliens. Can I see his head just for a second? No, tilt it up more so I can actually see it. That really doesn't help. I'm going to have to guess on this, and hopefully I get it right.
Guess. What?
The exact positioning of this.
Just as straightforward as it can be.
Yeah.
It's not straightforward on mine. If you look at it directly from the bottom, you can see that very easily. It's not aligned perfectly.
Yeah, I really literally have to hold this in place.
It was not good when I did it.
And let gravity pull the super glue to wherever it can. And just hope I get lucky that it'll make a nice connection. And excuse me. And hopefully it'll glue in place. So this is going to be kind of boring, so you may want to see what the little guy's doing. Yeah, enough. Yeah, that looks good. It's going into the cracks enough. And leaving the raised area still silver, which is what we're trying to go for on that.
Well, yeah, but it's a different type of silver.
Yeah.
Completely different. Looking at it, it's easy to tell. I mean, it could just be the thing that happens when, like when there's a net and you try to look through it, even if there's decently large holes in between, it'll still just look darker.
Now I'm going to take some of the mill put that I made and put it into this mold, and hopefully it will. I think it's a little too much. Hopefully we can get a good fit. Yeah, I think I definitely put too much. Take a little more off. It's not going to too much, but if this works out, we'll be able to make more of these with the exact same head and just give them different, other details, because
Really, the only thing that I think actually just makes it truly different, other than things like the gun, the tank, and the other gun,
yeah,
and the sword, is a different head, and that's actually about it.
and the paint job.
Well, obviously the paint job, and technically the jetpack on the back, but that's.
It is technically made out of one of their own pieces. So basically what we're trying to say is we want to disguise this basically to look like something other than what we started with.
Because I feel like if you just saw the two together, yeah, you'd probably realize that they're different. But like, it'd probably take a second or two before you realize
what we came from. Because, when you're kit bashing something, one of the things you want to do is really disguise everything so that you can't tell what it is. Sometimes, you could tell, oh, that's a bottle cap from such and such product or what have you. And we're really trying to avoid that sort of rabbit hole. We just want this to look, as different as possible. And then when people ask, oh, hey, what's that? And you go, well, you can only get those from Japan or something like that, when really it's just a 99-cent store special.
You mean dollar store?
Yeah.
You can't find them at the 99-cent store.
I bet someday you will be able to, but
Not for a while.
Yeah.
I actually don't understand why they made them dollar store exclusive.
Yeah, well, probably because there's no Toys R Us anymore. And
yeah, but you can still just put them in every store, then you'll probably make more money.
yeah, maybe.
Even if you want to sell them for $1 only. Isn't it just only at dollar stores, or it's only at $1 store?
I really think it's only at Dollar General or Dollar Tree.
It's a Dollar Tree exclusive?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's even stranger.
Good thing we've got plenty of those stores nearby.
A lot of them.
Okay, that
What's
feels
weird is
like
we've only been able to find one type.
You know, I looked for the other weapon accessories. I went on eBay, and I could not find them anywhere.
Maybe they don't exist.
I'm gonna go tonight later and look for actual YouTube videos of people who unbox these or reviews these, and see if that is in fact the case, that they're the only the 3 of the accessory packs are available. I'm really not sure what happened with that, because I recall that there were, I'm going to let that glue dry just a little bit longer.
One for each character.
Yeah, I really recall that they said that there was one accessory pack for each action figure, including the aliens and the mech. And
Well, there is one for each of the aliens.
which we've seen those in abundance.
But there's only 3. I mean, there's 3 for each. But there's really only 3 aliens at all. Which I don't really understand why. I mean, I do understand why they only made 3 types of aliens.
I'm guessing that the Wave 2 will have a bit more, I'm hoping.
I'm assuming. But I also don't know what's in Wave 2.
Well, I did hear that they were going to make vehicles, and like I said last time, I think those will, maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be something we could, turn them into.
I think the vehicles are a decent thing to make stuff out of.
Maybe we can turn it into like, because I'm assuming they're going to be either small airplanes or, something like a Jeep or something like that, some sort of small tank. Maybe it won't be just $1, maybe it'll actually be, $2. Basically, I just put a snake. Oh, I knew it was too soon to mess with this. The super glue just isn't dry, and my fingers just aren't getting in there. So I'm going to take that back off, and we may have to do that later because it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to just let that dry. I'm going to add a little more super glue. And
Yeah.
you might have to actually do this part because I can't get my finger in there.
Well, you did last time.
Yeah, but I didn't have a gun sticking to the side of his head. This big gun is really in the way.
But this gun was there.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, well. Either way, the super glue isn't dry, and it's almost time to say goodnight. So I'm just going to drop a little more super glue in there. But you guys,
This is just as much of a painting video as it is a crafting video.
well, we're giving them a two for one this evening.
That's true.
I'll let you guys get another look at that, and I'm going to. This is actually a mold of an old Grenadier or Ralparth stone tile with a sort of giant worm on it. I'm just going to use up this extra milliput instead of wasting it and turning it into a snake or a ball or a dragon egg, like I said before. I'm gonna just.
Yeah, you should probably already have a generic mold that whenever you're out of milliput.
Yes, it definitely is something we learned with the blue stuff, because these actually turn out pretty good, even the giant ants. And we'll try to show those off maybe at the end of the month in our show-off show, so you know what we're talking about, just so you can follow along. But some simple thing that you've made a mold of, like last month I think it was, when we did the gold bars for the dragon.
Yeah. It's also, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to change them frequently.
Well, it depends on
If
how many you want. Like with the gold bars, I think did we still have that mold, or did we melt that down?
No, we melted the mold out.
Oh yeah, it's good to have a backup mold just to throw your excess milliput in, so you don't waste any of it.
Yeah, I mean things like ants, I actually think are something that'd be useful to keep.
Yeah, we definitely never have too many of whatever it is, whatever your backup mold is. Make it something that you will.
Can't really have too many of.
Yeah, that's why I picked these carrion worms. I don't know, they're a little small for that. Maybe they were 25 millimeters, so maybe that was the idea. But giant spiders or treasure chests or trap tiles or anything that you just
stuff that is
that you don't mind
really
having
common
that you don't
and
mind having a lot of.
it's either really common or you need a lot of, or both. Like giant rats or something like that. Even though rats are actually harder to make.
You know what? Actually,
and he did it again.
You know what? That's a really good idea. I have those old heritage miniature giant rats, which it's roughly a 1 centimeter tile, or 2 centimeter when there's 4 of them. That's a really good idea. I'm going to break those out and start working on those next, because when you have giant rats, I know a bunch of companies made like giant rat miniature, swarms, but it's like it's this giant pile of rats, and rats don't really pile up on each other. 6 feet tall, height piles of rats when they swarm. They're more down low to the ground. But I'm gonna go get that tomorrow and pull that out of the garage and make a mold of that exact tile. That's perfect.
Why do you do this?
Because he wants to be in the show, and he wants to be a star, and he's hoping some dog food
Do you
commercial
think
out there is
he
watching.
actually understands what we're doing, or just thinks we're doing something and that camera
I'm
sees
actually
things?
starting to think he knows exactly what we're doing. I don't know how. I mean, he is a very smart dog, but
Sometimes
he is really pushing.
he's pulling the camera.
He's really pushing his luck, because we could trade him in for a cat, I'm sure.
I don't think you'd want to do that. You don't really like cats much.
Well, I like cats. I've had lots of cats.
You like cats, but you also don't like them.
I know what I don't like is paying for kitty litter. That's what I don't like.
Oh.
That's really all that I don't like about cats. They're cool. They can be sweet. They can be nice, but they can also be. They can also be kind of jerks, just like Chewy here.
Yes.
They all have their moments. They all have their place in the circle of life. And I just like.
I just realized I didn't put any black wash on this guy.
Oh, okay. Well.
Explains why there's barely any that's been used.
Okay, because I'm just goofing off here. I'm just
Oh.
I'm ready to say goodnight. Right?
Okay, let me just add this tiny amount. Also, you probably noticed that the base is black. That's because we painted the base black.
All right.
I really just couldn't think of anything else to say. But yeah, we're pretty much done. Okay.
Just about ready to say goodnight.
Yes. Let me just.
Don't rush it. I mean.
Not really.
Oh, that's actually going to be pretty cool. Just give it a little touch there.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the few areas that I think it'll look good, but also not mess with the shine.
Right. That's kind of what I meant. Gives a little shadowing effect there.
That's the point. But
Good job, sport.
yeah.
So, you ready to say goodnight? You have to look at the camera.
Yes.
So that's it for us for tonight. We will see you Tuesday with. We're going to do the Shadows of Brimstone video.
Yes.
Okay, that was an undertaking. We stayed up very late playing Shadows of Brimstone. So we'll have a Shadows of Brimstone review for you Tuesday. onto a new craft
So,
that will be Final Faction.
Yes.
Okay. So we hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for stopping by. Please like and share and leave a comment if you have anything interesting to talk about. And we will see you Tuesday. Good night, everybody.
Good night. And always remember that I am human.